Hello, everyone. I'm James Belknap for the Stadium Junkies Media Podcast, and what did I just see? All right, first we start with the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view. Kind of what we expected. We expected the old 50 style, that, nice car sheen, the old, what we expect from the 50s to be, Red Scare and how we expect, propaganda and such like that. That kind of feel. So, Great Balls of Fire, kind of what we expected out of the theme. But the card, it's a lot better than I expected it to be. First started off with the King of the Cruiserweights versus Akira Tozawa. To be honest, it wasn't really the match I expected. As I found out from Tozawa doesn't really do many moves that, to say, the greatest of high flying. Granted, does Cruiserweights have to be a high flying? No, but what we want is high energy and sentons. Sentons is more of a big man move. We got to catch up to the days, especially with we have Kevin Owens who's able to do sentons, and not only that, no, but we have Samoa Joe. So we have big guys who are able to do sentons, and you're 205 or under, and you're doing a top rope senton. It just doesn't feel convincing enough for me. Akira Tozawa, you are obviously not going to lose against the King of the Cruiserweights, who once again reigns supreme. A pinfall? I wasn't expecting a kick and a pinfall after, getting racked. I expected the Rings of Saturn for the win. Slightly anticlimactic, but for a pre-show, that was pretty good. Then we move on to the Seth Rollins-Bray Wyatt match. To be honest, we really expected this to be just straight up Seth Rollins winning because, hey, you are the 2K18 cover boy. What we're going to expect? All of a sudden, Bray Wyatt comes up for the win? I'm not really sure with the booking with this one. But you know what? What I keep on saying is, as long as Bray wins, the more of that mumble jumble of something, dark side. The end is near. It's going to show up more. And guess what? I'm going to start listening the more that he wins. Then eventually he gets the title matches, the more I'll listen. You put him over just by simple bookings. But then afterwards, we get the Enzo and Big Cass. Oh, pull it from the heartstrings. We expected even a little bit. It's a squash match. I expected a little bit more from Enzo, but what we expected, Vince McMahon liking big sweaty men. It's going to happen that way. What do we expect? It's going to be victory big men. But the good news is it makes what we anticipated. Big Cass being a big heel, Enzo being big face, but what comes next for Enzo? I mean, do we see him go lighter into the 205 and 205 Live and really become a cruiserweight? Really, we haven't really seen any of the skills, but I think it's because they put him in a tag team and we see that each other, they hinder it. That's the reason why a breakup might be even better. Imagine having that kind of mouth in 205 Live. The King of the Cruiserweights will have his match. Then we move on to the Iron Man match, the 30-minute tag team Iron Man match, starting off with the first fall within 20 seconds. I like that. I like that feeling of you're down. Now the intensity is there. It's not that moment of let's wait. Hey, cool. Now we know what's going on. Nope. Intensity off the bat, and I'm just sitting there like, let's go. What we're waiting on. Let's get it going. And then getting down after fall. And when it was 1 fall to 3, the Hardy Boys losing versus Sheamus and Cesaro, or what I call the Irish Army Knife. I knew that it was going to come to the final seconds, not going to be winning. And I loved it. I truly loved it. I love how all of a sudden, boom, you get a fall, and then, all right, it comes to a best of 7. You got the 4th one. But all of a sudden you have to run around the ring trying to run out of time, and then boom, 1, 2, and time's up. So now we blame the clock instead of the fact that they're a better team. It makes them both look greater. But I'm really getting sick of this feud, and to be honest, unless you break the Hardys, I'm not going to be interested in this feud anymore. But we go to the women's, and to be honest, I really like this mixture between Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks. Sasha showing more of a sassy side, showing us more of what she can do, of more of the side that we saw in NXT when she was facing off against Bayley in a 30-minute Iron Woman match. And especially chasing her down, chasing Alexa Bliss down immediately after the match because of the count out. Love it. Grade A stuff for me. I'll take it every time. Mwah. All right, then we go to the Intercontinental Championship match, which, to be honest, I'm really sick of the Dean Ambrose versus The Miz. But I really like this whole factor of trying to bring up The Miz-tourage. I like The Miz-tourage, to be honest. Do I really like the fact that it's Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas? Only if you can put them over, or if you can put Bo Dallas with Bray Wyatt. That's what I'll accept. Anything more? If you give me a tag team or a stable that can all of a sudden get titles and championships together, but not the Universal Championship, then you can convince me. But right now, I really don't like the look of Bo Dallas. I think if you were to switch with Curtis Axel, but then again, I just thought about it. They were talking about in Raw Talk that they didn't want it to be more of a joke to be in WWE. And Bo hasn't been in a pay-per-view for 2 years. God, he really hit it home for himself. It almost felt like a shoot. But you know what? The Miz feel like he's really bringing them up. It feels like backstage, they really are friends. Whether or not they're friends or not. I'll take it. Ambulance match. It's a real slow burn. The beginning is pretty horrible. I like how to prolong things. They dragged Roman Reigns out of the ring and try to convince, hey, it's about to be over. Then the slow progression. I really didn't like how they progressed towards the ambulance. What I did like is the false endings and the constant use of the ambulance and just making me feel like I don't know who's going to win. Then at the end, I didn't know who won because Roman got in there. It slammed shut. But the ambulance didn't leave. And all of a sudden, Roman comes out, goes back in the ambulance, takes over the driver's spot, bring it all back it into a trailer, and boom, it was damage destroyed. Then we had a weird squash match with Heath Slater, and I don't even know anymore who it was. All I know is it was a middle match trying to let real time happen between the ambulance match and what was going to progress to seeing Braun Strowman come out of the ambulance all beaten and battered. To be honest, I would have really liked that after the Universal Championship match that it would have continued on, at least some kind of feud, and eventually they're both down, or even Braun Strowman's down with some help from somebody for Roman, but Roman's the big dog, big bad man. Ooh, I had to defeat The Undertaker, so I had to do it all by myself, even though I was part of the Shield. Whatever, so Heath Slater for the win, rah, huzzah. Then, throughout the whole match, the Universal Championship match, it was great. It was amazing. I didn't know what to feel. I really did think Samoa Joe was going to win. Did he win? No. Was I happy how he lost? To be honest, 1 F5. I'm fine for 7, 8, 9 German suplexes. But 1 F5 after multiple attempts at the Coquina Clutch, I'm not really that satisfied with the ending. But booking is the way it booked. And to be honest, if they would have led from that back to the ambulance match and showed the final results of that, or even on Raw Talk, that might even made me, better to digest, a little more satisfied with the whole situation. But to be honest, it is what it is. Great Balls of Fire. If I have to give a star rating, I would say a 3.5 stars. Even a 3.74, somewhere in between. Because to be honest, I was satisfied for the first time in quite some time when it came to pay-per-views. I was actually the first time in a while I was actually happy about the main event. And that's been a while, especially since on the SmackDown side you got Jinder Mahal and you finally got Universal Championship. Finally as the main event on Raw. Alright everybody, that is it. My name is James Belknap for the Stadium Junkies Radio podcast. And of course you can like, share, subscribe. And I always believe that you should like the content that we follow through with WWE. Of course, like, share, subscribe.